Let me start recording. Okay. So how many students do we have? We have 17. Hi, Dan.
Hello.
Okay, we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait 1 more minute and we'll start. Okay. Oh, actually, we have everyone here. Okay, so I can start. Okay, I can start right now. I can start right now. Okay. All right. So everyone's here. So I can start. Okay. All right. The last time.
That's not how it works.
All right. And the last time we talked about the papers, right? So you remember that. Okay. So in the last time we talked about two papers, corporate venture capital paper and VC NIHFX paper. Okay.
Like Center and Millsaps and Hendricks and Rhodes are gonna come for that evening session, or if they're just gonna come, like if they can make it for Friday night, or if they're just gonna come Friday and then start on Saturday morning.
Well, please mute your microphone, please. All right, thank you. Okay, so the last time we talked about our two papers, right? Two papers, corporate venture capital and VC NIHFX. So we were thinking about real option perspective, all right? The timing issues in the real options, and then also timing issues in the VC NIHFX. All right. Okay. So remember that. All right. Then we're done. Okay. Today we will start a new chapter. All right. We will start a textbook. Okay. So chapter 1 and 2. We will cover 2 chapters. Okay. So definition of strategic management. Very simple. We already talked about some of these topics. Okay. And also some other terminology related to strategy management. Strategy in chapter 2. That's it. All right. Very, very simple. Chapter 1 and 2. Okay. Definitions. Okay. And very simple mechanisms behind all these mechanisms. That done. All right. So I just want to make sure any audio, video issues or whatever your concern, question. So are you ready to start a new chapter? All right. Please type yes to make sure. All right, great. Thank you so much. All right, so we don't have any problem. Okay. All right, now we can start it. Okay, so chapter one. Simply asking, what is a strategy? Okay, so we talked about that already. All right, so it won't take a long time. Okay. All right, so I just want to make sure everything is going okay. All right. So teams. So anyone, okay? I don't have a team. Please let me know, all right? I don't believe there's anyone, but if you don't have any team right now, okay, please let me know immediately, all right? Your team list is on Canvas. You can make sure, all right? So you should have a team, okay? And CAPSIM simulations, okay? In the last week, all right, 2 weeks before, we did the practice round of CAPSIM simulations. And then next week is again asynchronous class. I don't like this schedule because there are many asynchronous schedules, meetings, asynchronous classes in the very beginning of the semester. I don't like it, but I should just take it. Okay. So next week we don't have the second round, practice round. Okay. So I just want to make sure at this point, okay, anyone, all right, or any team have a problem to practice to do caption simulations. I just want to make sure. So if you have any problem, any concern or question, just let me know immediately. Okay? If you have any question or concern, okay, please let me know immediately. Okay? Then we done research papers, so I don't have any more comments, okay, about research papers. Okay? All right. So we will start a new chapter with one case. Okay, one case. So I believe you already submit your chapter case, okay, on Canvas. So let's start with the one case. Okay, you can go Canvas on under the title of quiz, okay, or assignments. Okay, and now I publish chapter 1 and 2 warm-up quiz. Okay, so now you can find it. Then I'm gonna give you 10 minutes. I'm gonna give you 10 minutes for this. So now it's a 6. So 16. All right, the test is available. The warm-up key is available right now. So please take it. All right. Please go to Canvas, and under the title of the quiz or assignments, you can find chapter 1 and 2 warm-up keys. And please take it. 10 minutes. Probably you won't take the full 10 minutes. Okay? I'm gonna mute my microphone for you. So when you're done, please let me know. Just type done. All right, great. All right, great. Most people done. All right. Please let me know if you need more time. I need more time. Please let me know. Anyone? I'm not gonna waste our time if everyone's done already. So I need more time. Please let me know. Okay, no one. All right, now I can start. Discussions as a whole group. Great. Okay. All right. Let's talk about chapter 1 and 2. All right, strategy management and some other terminology. That's it. Okay. So number 1, competitive advantage is an absolute measure of superior firm performance. True or false? You can say anything. You can type anything. Okay. So either way, is it true or false? All right, it's false. It's false. All right. Competitive advantage is an absolute. Why false? Anyone? Why false?
Because it's relative.
All right. Competitive advantage is a relative measure of superior firm performance. Okay. So competitive advantage is a relative measure. So it's always comparing. All right. Comparing to something. All right. So there is no the best competitive advantage. All right. So better competitive advantage. All right. Strategy 2. All right. Strategy. Okay. There's always better strategy, not best strategy. All right. So the terminology we talk about in this class are usually relative things. Okay. All right. Good start. Number 2. The essential core of strategy is doing the same thing as your rivals, but beginning more effective at it. True or false? Okay, why false? So most people say why false. Everett, Ryan, Chandler, you can do things differently. All right, Chandler says, okay, strategy is doing the different way. All right, the things in a different way. Okay, and how about that being more effective at it? Probably yes. In part. Okay, more effective and more efficient. Okay, so more effective and more efficient. Okay, I just want to point out this. Number 3, easy, huh? So far so good. All right, great. Number 3, the term strategy is meant to describe the firm's overall quest for competitive advantage. We talked about that, right? This is the definition of strategy. So this is true. Okay. All right. And I just want to point out at this point, okay, 2 terminology, strategy and tactics. All right. Strategy and tactics. These are actually military words. Okay? So strategy is a long-term overall quest, and tactics is about the short term. All right. So in the business term, strategy management is long term. All right. And operation management is a short term. All right. Short term. Okay? So I just want to clarify this. Number four. industry effects clearly are more significant than firm level effects on firm performance. True or false? Industry effects, firm performance. Industry effects are more significant, clearly. Is it true or false? All right. Chandler says false. Matt says false. Okay. Chandler is typing something, so I'm gonna wait. Is 50%? 50. All right. Okay. So, actually, Chandler pointed out that the firm-specific effect is bigger than the industry effects. These numbers I cannot trust. I cannot trust these numbers, but okay. Even in the textbook, says some numbers, but I do not trust those numbers. But the common sense. Okay, there are industry effects and firm effects. Okay, if industry effects are absolutely strong and determine everything, so we don't need to have any strategy because we just follow the industry trends. Then we have a good performance. Okay, so it doesn't make sense. All right. So industry effects, firm effects. Okay? Usually, firm effects are greater than the industry effects. Okay? All right, but it depends. It depends on the industry. In some industry, industry trend is very, very important. Very, very important. Okay? So industry effects is greater than firm effects. For example, IT. All right, IT industry. All right. There are some industry trends, okay? Like online streaming. Think about that. Blockbuster versus Netflix. Okay, so offline video rental industry and online streaming industry. So there's a big trend from offline rental video industry to the online streaming industry. So we cannot swim against this trend. Okay? So industrial effect is very strong in this case. But think about the biopharmaceutical industry. All right, biopharmaceutical industry. Actually, there's no specific industry effects. Okay? Because any product, actually, this industry is a product-driven industry. So if you develop a single drug, you will have a good performance. Okay? It doesn't matter how industry is going good or not. All right? So industry effects sometimes is very significant, but sometimes are not. All right? So I just want to clarify this. Okay? Clear? All right, number 5. Business strategy concerns the choice of strategy in terms of where to compete. True or false?
False.
False. Why, Ryan? Please go ahead.
Oh, because a business strategy should focus on like where or how the firm should compete.
Great. That's a great point. All right. So in the following chapters, we are going to talk about 3 levels of strategy. 3 levels of strategy: functional level, business level, and corporation level. All right. Functional level is about efficiency. All right. The functions, the department things. Okay. And business level strategy is all about a single business unit. So it is about how to compete in the market. All right. Then corporation level strategy is about multiple business units under the umbrella of corporation. Okay. So something like the GE. All right. Think about that. GE has many business units under the umbrella of it. Okay. So how harmonize these multiple business units. It's a corporation level. So it's about where to compete. Okay. So Ryan says business strategy concerns the choice of strategy in terms of how to compete, not where to compete. All right. Great. Good point. Good point. Number 6. The strategy management process describes the method by which managers conceive of and implement a strategy that can lead to a sustainable competitive. Yes, yeah, this is a strategy management. Okay. In the chapter, we want to talk about AFI framework: analysis, okay, formulation, and implementation. All right, 3 steps: analysis, formulation, implementation. All right. So we want to talk about analysis. Okay. It's all about your environment, external and internal environments. Okay? Formulation is about the strategy, how to formulate. Okay. We want to talk about that with the textbook. Implementation. Okay. Implementation. It is about how to implement your strategy, but it is very difficult to generalize it because this is very, very firm specific. Right? It's organization specific. So we will practice this with simulations. Okay. Okay. All right. So this is the framework of this textbook and the strategy method. Okay. Number 7, a mission. Okay, this is about chapter 2, right? All right. All right. People are typing. This would values describe why it does it as opposed to mission. Oh yeah, but number 7, a mission describes what an organization actually does, what a business is, why it does it. Okay, false. Okay. Why does it? Okay. So maybe please say why you propose, so we can discuss.
Yeah, so I just put false because when I was reading in the textbook, it sounded more like values or even vision, to Everett's point, would better describe the why it does it aspect, which it asks for at the end of that question. So I think that's just why it kind of threw me.
All right. If we say why, if we include why, what's the problem?
I think that why is a problem because when I look at the definition of mission, it says it's the description of what an organization actually does. And so when you add in why, that's more of the general, I would assume the general vision of the firm.
All right. Anybody else? So Betty and Everett says if we include why in a mission, then it's a problem. It's not a mission. Do you agree with that?
I think it's like interesting to note like what an organization actually does and what the business is very like, I mean, not necessarily concrete things, but it's definitely like more measurable, real things, whereas why it does it is more conceptual, which does seem to align more with vision. I think that it can be included in mission, but it definitely, there's a difference between the conceptual of the why and then what the business is actually doing, which seems more concrete. So I could see why there would be a disconnect there.
Okay. All right. Good point. Good point, Chandler. All right. Great. Anybody else? Anyone else? So why is a problem for you? If you include why in the mission, is it a problem? I don't think it's a problem, all right? In my perspective, okay? I understand that the textbook says what, you know, if even we include, we include the why in the mission, but it's a still mission, okay? So in my perspective, this is a true statement, right? This is true statement, okay? Actually, if you include why things in the mission, it makes it more clear. Okay? All right. So probably we can include. Okay? So in the Berry College's mission, all right. So we can find this why, because we are located in some area. So we focus on the education, high education of the North Georgia, something like that. Okay. So in my perspective, okay, it doesn't matter if we include why in the mission statement. Okay. All right. So this is true statement. Okay. Ready, Everett? You okay?
Yeah, that makes a little more sense.
Okay. Everett, you okay?
Yeah, no, that makes sense after you explained it. I think I was just looking at it purely based off of what I'm seeing from the textbook,
That's right.
or from at least from my understanding from the textbook.
Right.
And so, I understand it outside of that, but I think for me it was a little tricky. So.
All right. Yeah, it's a really tricky. All right. Actually, the textbook and the statement in the textbook cannot be perfect. Cannot be perfect. Okay. So that's why I emphasize the B on the textbook. Okay. So we cannot completely rely on the textbook. Okay. But actually, your argument is worse to not. Okay. So worse to not. Okay. So probably Frank Rodman, the author of the textbook, okay, he needs to think about this. I will let him know about your point. Okay. Okay. He is my co-author, so we are corresponding. So I will let him know. Okay. Number 8. A company's mission should be customer-oriented because this helps the firm retain flexibility in changing environments. True or false? All right, customer and product-oriented. Which one is better? Customer-oriented or product-oriented? All right, great. All right, customer. This is true statement 2. All right, company's mission should be customer-oriented because it has more flexibility. All right, great. Okay, good. This is how the work is going. All right. So we want to reiterate the work is when we start a new chapter. So this is how the work is going. All right. Any question, concerns, comment about the work keys? All right, then customer. Okay, customer. No. Okay. All right, no question, right? I just want to make sure. All right, then let's move on. Let's move. Not this one. All right, so we talked about we talked about some topics already with the warm keys. Okay? So we talked about competitive advantage. Okay? Competitive advantage. We know this. And we talked about strategy, the definition of a strategy, long-term plan to achieve competitive advantage. We talked about that. Fun effects and industry effects. We talked about a little bit. And 3 levels of strategy: corporate, business, functional level. And we are going to talk about some trends, a couple of trends actually, in the current business environment. Okay? Then we are going to talk about a little bit more stakeholders. That's it. This is all about chapter 1. So we talked about most topics already. Okay? Already. So let's move. Where we are here, chapter 1. What is the strategy? Okay? And we are going to talk about chapter 2 also today, right? Strategy management process. So definitional things of strategy management today. Okay? All right. Today's class activity. All right. Class activity is about your case. All right. Sometimes class activities can be your case, sometimes not. Okay? So today's class activity is your chapter case. Number 1, chapter 1 case, Twitter case. Okay. It's a very interesting case, very short. Okay. So it doesn't have a lot of information, but we can talk about that still. Okay. So we want to talk about this case. Okay? And your team will get together, okay, to share your perspectives, okay, and we talk about these 3 questions as a whole group, of class. So you will share these questions with your team about how many minutes? How long? 10 minutes? 15 minutes? Let's try 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Okay? No, 15 minutes. It's too long. 10 minutes. Okay? Let's try 10 minutes. So we have 4 teams, right? 4 teams. 4 teams and 10 minutes. Okay? So now you can get together with your team and discuss these 3 questions. Okay? Then we can talk about these questions as a whole. Please go to your breakout rooms.
You are currently the only person in this conference.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. All right, how was 10 minutes? 10 minutes. Is it too short or too long? Is it okay? It's good. All right. 10 minutes is good. All right. Okay. All right. Then I'm gonna keep. Okay. I'm gonna keep this 10 minutes. It's good. That's good to hear it. All right. So let's talk about the Twitter case. All right. Let's talk about it. Anyone can start. Please tell us. Please tell us what is the case about. What the case is about. Any team, anyone can start. Please tell us about the case. What is the case about?
I guess I'll take a stab at that, sir.
Okay.
Twitter is in a transition period from Costello to Dorsey. And after going public in 2013, the company hasn't performed as well financially as key shareholders would like, prompting a CEO transition.
Mm-hmm. All right, great, very concise. Okay, informative. So, Twitter has a transition period. It was really nice. Okay, the performance was really nice. Okay, then they experienced the decline of the performance. There are many factors. So we're going to talk about that. Okay, so the first question: why is Twitter struggling? What role do industry and formatters play here? Any team? Any team, please? Tell me about this. The first question: why Twitter is struggling, and industry and formatters?
I would say Twitter is struggling because the strategy that they had at the very beginning with Casalo, where he adapted strategy very quickly, where you could say it helped them out in the beginning, but now it's harming the firm because now that it is larger, it needs to think more long-term strategy.
All right.
And then even as an industry effects, Twitter is a software company, doesn't have assets that you can easily liquidate. So when it went public, I think that investors got a little scared when Twitter was struggling because if they went down, they didn't have any assets to liquidate easily.
Okay. All right. Good point. Good discussions. All right. Any other points? Any other teams?
Well, also, just in general, Twitter's user base is very low, and they've acknowledged that they need to grow their user base. But to do that, they haven't really defined a good guiding policy. So in theory, they really don't have a strategy, in my opinion.
All right. Okay. It is not easy to have a good strategy at this point because Twitter was one of the frontier in this industry. Okay. So actually they enjoy the first mover advantages. Okay. So very low level of competitions. And then the industry is getting more and more players. Okay. Then the competition level is getting more and more intensive. So these industry effects impact a lot in their performance. Okay. In formats, no strategy is a big problem. Okay. So what else? What other points? The first question. All right. If you don't have it, okay, let's move to the second question. Why is this strategy so important, especially at high-tech startup like a Twitter? Why is crafting a good strategy at Twitter so difficult? Any team? Anyone? Please go ahead. All right, Joseph and Evan typing. So the second question, anyone? Any team? Your discussions.
We had a little bit of a discussion on our team that after going IPO, after going public, the Twitter added stakeholders that they had to account for in their strategy.
Okay, all right. Anyone else?
Having a good strategy is also important because they have to work really hard to compete against the big folks like Facebook and Google. So they have to try and come up with a way to make themselves stand out and draw more users to their social media site.
All right, competitions. Okay, Carson point out competitions. Actually, the Dan's point is related to the competition too, because the market is changing. All right, industry is changing, players are changing, almost everything is changing. We are going to talk about external, internal environments in the following chapters. Okay, so probably if we talk about these two external environments and these questions are very, very clear. All right, we can address these questions very, very clearly. Okay? So, external environments are changing. Okay, so Twitter should be consistent with these changes. Okay, these changes. So that's why they need a good strategy. All right, great point, Carson. Okay, great point. Okay. Any other point? Any other comment on second question? So no other point? All right, then I can move to the next question. All right, apply the three-step process for developing a good strategy outlined above the Twitter's situation today. So this three-step process is analysis, formulation, and implementation. Probably you didn't have enough time to discuss this one, but anyone just open the discussions for this. But your case, your submissions, your assignment. Okay. Please, anyone can go ahead.
Well, I guess I'm going to talk a lot tonight, Dr.
Right.
Kang. So I had thought about this in terms of the situation that the social media platforms, as they've grown in size and influence, they now have to deal with disinformation and are accountable to governments.
All right. Yeah.
So that's maybe the analyze phase. And the formulate phase was that in order to remain competitive and not undermine their fundamental role as a social influencer, they have to maintain their core integrity in terms of the integrity of and truthfulness of their information.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to need to implement a strategy to accomplish that. Now, I don't know the exact strategy. I had said maybe they could certify users or rate users in terms of their past comments, but those were a couple of thoughts.
All right, great point. Great points. I totally agree with you at this point. That is a great point. So actually, more straightforwardly speaking, Twitter is influenced by the politics, US politics a lot. All right. It was cursing and blessing. All right. It was a blessing and cursing actually. All right. Twitter got a lot of attention from the media, but it had a problem too. So there can be some problems because of this blessing actually. So from that point, Twitter had to have a very clear strategy, all right? Clear strategy to their future directions, okay? Future directions. As Dan pointed out that, okay, we don't know what that clear direction is. They need to find it, okay? But we know they need to find that way, all right? So I'm not gonna give any specific comments on it, but it's a very important time. Okay. So to do so, Twitter need to focus on analysis right now. Okay. So external, internal environment. External environment is a very general things. Okay? General things like politics, economics, and society, and some other things, technology. Okay. They should restart to analyze the external environments. Okay? Also internal environments, what resources actually they have right now. Okay? They just forget about their past. Okay? Then they restart, analyze external, internal environments right now, and then they can formulate their strategy based on this analysis. Okay? Right. This is the first step. Right? What they should do at this point. This is my perspective. Okay. All right. So this is the 3 steps: analysis, formulations, and implementations. Okay. All right. Any other point? Any other point? Anything? Any one? Any other point? Do you have any other point? Okay. So, any question or concern about class activities? This is how our class activity is going. Okay? All right. So, no problem. Okay. I assume like that. Okay. All right. So, at this point, I'm gonna start a very simple lecture. Okay. Very simple lecture. I'm not gonna replicate your textbook. Okay. Okay. My lecture will be very simple, and my lecture will emphasize some points. That's it. Okay. I'm not gonna replicate the textbook. Okay. So let's start with that. All right. Competitive advantage, better than others. We talked about that already, right? Strategy is a long-term plan to have competitive advantage. Okay. I just want to talk about this: product differentiation versus cost leadership. Okay. This one. All right. This is the fundamental framework of strategy management. All right. So you want to have competitive advantage, right? Okay. That's why we are here. Okay. I want to have a competitive advantage, doing better than others. How? I can reduce my cost. All right. This is a cost leadership strategy. All right. I can increase product differentiation. This is a product differentiation strategy. All right. Between these, cost and product differentiation, right? This is a gap. All right. We say this gap is value. All right. So if you reduce cost, increase product differentiations, you can create value. This value can be a competitive advantage. Okay. All right. So reduce cost, increase product differentiations, then you have competitive advantage. This simple framework is all about strategy management. All right. It cannot be falsified. Okay. So we are going to talk about this framework again and again and again. For example, external internal environments analysis. Why do we care about analysis? Because I want to reduce, I want to increase product differentiations. That's why we talking about environment. analysis, strategy, or something like that. Okay. All right. And industry effect, firm effects, we talked about that, right? Industry effects is about 20%, firm effects is 30 to 45, and other effects. All right. Probably we cannot clearly distinguish industry and firm effects, okay? Because these effects are intermingled, okay? And interact with each other, all right? So I don't believe okay, these numbers, but anyway, firm effects is great, okay? So different strategy in each firm, okay? And so different performance, that's why, all right? Okay. So in a common sense, we can say firm effects is great, big, okay? Strategy, I'm not gonna replicate this. We talked about that, definitions of strategy, okay? What strategy is not? Raking in every penny the firm can get, operational effectiveness, operation management is not strategy, all right? So I believe you already took operation management class, and you talk about this one. ERP, benchmarking, Six Sigma, you should talk about this already, okay? So operation management is not strategy, okay? It's a tactic, all right? Operation management is all about tactics, all right? Strategy management is a long-term strategy, okay? All right, when we talk about 3 levels of strategy, corporation level, business level, functional level, where to compete, how to implement, okay? All right. Oh, if you have anything you want to point out, any question, any concern during my lecture, jump in, all right? Then we can talk. Okay? All right, this is just example of this level, 3 levels, corporation level, business level, functional level, okay? All right, business model is putting strategy into action, right? Into action. So the model of action, this is a business model, all right? So we are gonna looking at the definitions of business model too. All right, some business models, Microsoft and Google, so you can check it out, and there are some differences between these 2 models, all right? Contemporary strategy, all right. So there are big trends. There are big trends in the business, okay? The first one is technology. The second one is globalization. Internationalization, okay? So technology and globalization, okay? So technology, okay, there are so many examples, okay? Technologies can impact performance, okay? So why people are so crazy about technology? How technology actually impact a performance? How do you say? Think about that. Technology, globalization, 2 big trends in the business. Okay, Nick, go ahead.
I was just going to say that technology can just increase efficiency really well. You know, you can do things a lot faster and, you know, get a lot more things done at one time.
All right. So Nick says technology increase efficiency. That efficiency. It's a good answer. It's a good answer. In part. All right. It's a good answer. Okay. Good point. All right. Any other points? Why people are crazy about technology these days? Any other point? Any other comment? All right. This is how to apply our framework and strategy management. In my perspective, as a strategist, okay, I'm gonna answer like this. Okay, people are crazy about technology because technology can reduce cost. Increased product differentiations. Okay, so week A is about efficiency. All right, efficiency is all about cost. All right, so technology can reduce cost, increase efficiency. All right, efficiency is all about cost. So technology can reduce cost, also increase product differentiation. It's all about effectiveness. Okay? So technology can increase product differentiation, reduce cost. Okay? At the same time, it is very important. Think about that. If you want to reduce cost, okay? So reduce cost. And how about the product differentiations? Probably if you reduce cost, if you less spend money, then your product differentiation will go down together. Okay? If you want to increase product differentiations, okay, how about your cost? Will be increased too. Usually, if you have any drive to reduce cost or product differentiations, these two factors, okay, move together. All right? Then the value between these two factors, it doesn't change a lot. Okay? But technology actually can reduce cost, increase product differentiation at the same time, then increase the value, the gap. That's why people are crazy about technology. So think about that. Think about that in your job. Okay? So how to reduce cost? Your job, as a strategist, very simple. You think how to reduce cost and how to reduce your product or service. Okay? Think about that. All right? Then if you can use any technology, right? Just a simple technology or fancy technology, it doesn't matter. All right? If the technology works, then you can reduce cost, increase product differentiations, then boom, it's a competitive advantage. All right? This is how to apply our framework in your, in your thinking. Okay? In your job. Globalization too. Why people go outside? Because they can reduce cost, they can increase product differentiation at the same time. Okay? So that's why we see these two big trends in the business. Okay? Technology and globalization. Okay? All right. So technology and globalization. Okay. And future industry, healthcare, green economy, yes, IT industries. Okay, so the last thing is a stakeholder. Stakeholders are very simple concept. Any individual, any organizations are related with your business. Okay? Then they are stakeholders. So there are many stakeholders. Okay? For example, at Berry College, all right? Berry College. Students, faculty members, staffs, okay? And governments, and communities, and some other suppliers, okay? And parents, they are all stakeholders. Okay? So there is a perspective, stakeholder management perspective. This perspective emphasizes the balance, harmonize the interest of stakeholders. If the interests of stakeholders are well managed, well balanced, then your business is successful, competitive advantage. This is a stakeholder management perspective. Okay? All right. So stakeholders, external and internal stakeholders. Okay. Then AFI strategy framework. I already talked about this. AFI, analysis, formulation, and implementation. So in chapter 1 to 5, we're going to talk about this analysis, okay? External, internal analysis. And formulation, about the strategy, okay? In these chapters, we are going to talk about the implementation. So we don't need a textbook, okay? We don't need a textbook, but we are going to do simulations for this. Then you will practice how to implement this strategy with some numbers. All right, with some numbers. All right, that's it. It's all about chapter 1. Okay, so we did chapter case. You already submit the chapter case, and we did warm-up case. We did class activity. We did my simple lecture. Done. This is how we done the chapter, each chapter. How was it? That's good? Okay. All right. Then, what time is it? Oh, 7:11. So, I'm gonna give a simple lecture about chapter 2, but before doing it, we have just 5 minutes break and refresh, and then we will start. So 5 minutes break, okay? All right, I will see you in 5 minutes. So now it's 7:11, so I'm gonna see you at 7:16. All right, let's take a break. All right, so 716. I believe some of you already took my BUS685 class. So some of you already took that class in your undergraduate, especially students who are in 4+1 program. And this class is very similar with BUS685. Okay? But BUS685 is an undergraduate level, strategy management. This is a graduate level strategy management. Okay? So it shares very similar design of the class, but the how they say, the level of difficulty or a little bit different, I guess. Okay. All right. So it won't take a long time to cover chapter 2 with my lecture. Okay? Very simple ones. Okay? So everyone's ready? So everyone's here, please make sure if you are ready, please type yes. Then we can start. Okay, great. Okay. So I assume that everyone's ready to go forward at this point. Okay. All right. So let's talk about chapter 2. Once again, I wanna point out this. Okay? If you have any question or any comment during my lecture, please jump in it. Okay. Please share it. Okay? Then we can discuss anything. Okay. All right. So, chapter 2, strategic leadership, managing the strategy process. Actually, I don't know why the Frank Roma, the author of this textbook, so divide chapter 1 and 2. I don't know why. Actually, this is just part of chapter 1. Okay? In most textbooks. Okay? So, let's talk about that. So, vision, mission, values. It's always problematic. All right. I know your points, okay? This can be vision, this can be mission. Yes, okay? This is always problematic, okay? Always, okay? But, all right, we need to understand the difference between this, okay? All right, and customer-oriented and product-oriented missions. We talked about that, right? Okay. And mission and competitive advantage, okay? Mission statement is necessary. Yes, in many cases. Okay. And we are going to talk about what? So not this one. Strategic planning, scenario planning, strategy as planned emergence. Very simple concepts. Okay. So we are going to talk about these ones. Okay. Then done. This is all about chapter 2. All right. This is all about chapter 2. Okay. We are in the chapter 2. Okay. So, vision, mission, and values. Okay. So, what are visionary organizations? Begin with the end in mind. Vision, what ultimately accomplish. Okay. Mission, what the firm about. Values, how to accomplish goals. Now you have a good sense about the difference between among these concepts. Okay. But in practice, okay, it's not easy to distinguish this. Okay? Many people just interchangeably use these ones. Okay? So, vision, mission, values. Strategic intent. You just read that, okay? Then you can understand easily. So, we talked about that, right? Customer-oriented missions and product-oriented missions. Okay? Customer-oriented missions are more flexible, so is better than product-oriented missions because products okay, can be changed very quickly. All right, think about that. Netflix. They start with the just video, some rental things, okay, and then they change it to online streaming. Okay, so their products are changing very quickly based on the strategy. Okay, but every organization want to keep their customers. So customer-oriented mission is flexible and better than product-oriented mission. The mission statement helps gain sustained competitive advantage. Results are inconclusive. That means in the research, there are many research about this, but in the research, some research says it helped. Some research says it didn't find any significant, effects. Okay? So, but mission statements. Okay. So just think about in concepts. If you have a mission statement, you can share with internally and externally, right? Okay. So employees, think about that. Okay. They don't know where to go. Okay. Usually. Okay. But if you have explicit mission statement, they can read it and they can go to the same direction. That's why we need a mission statement. Okay. All right. And I'm not going to talk about this. Okay. Strategic management process, strategic planning, scenario planning, strategy as planned emergency. These are very simple. Okay, very simple. All right, top-down rational planning. All right, define mission, vision, and goal, external analysis, internal analysis, and actually the textbook is talking about this. Okay, the rational planning. Textbook is all about this top-down rational planning. Okay, very systematic. Okay, very systematic. Okay, and rational is not everything. All right, it's not everything. Okay, so the reason we use the textbook is because we are gonna cover some systematic things. All right, generalized topics. Okay, generalized practice. Okay, that's it. Okay, so top-down rational planning. I want to talk about this. All right, external internal environment. Okay, SWOT. Formulation of a strategy, implementation of a strategy, something like that. All right. Okay. But the problem is not the problem. The reality is beyond this top-down rational planning, there are many things we should consider. Okay. We should consider. All right, traditional view of strategy work reasonably well in stable environment. Scientific management and past predicts the future. Strategic thinking is separate from implementation. Very stable, right? Very stable, very systematic. Okay, but the reality is not stable and not systematic. Okay? So there are many things can be happening. Can be occurred. Okay. So scenario planning is the alternative ones. So what is the scenario planning? What if? Right? What if? Okay. Anyone can talk about scenario planning? What is it? Scenario planning in your language. What is that?
Well, it's a lot about. Oh, sorry, Ryan. Are you gonna go ahead?
I was going to say it's basically like the PowerPoint says, you're just planning for different what ifs and different scenarios.
Okay. All right. Nick.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a lot of what we're doing right now with COVID. You can make a lot of plans, for what if this happens, but things could change tomorrow, and you have to go to the backup plan. So plan A, plan B, plan C. If kind of just planning out, a lot of situations that may or may not happen, but if they do happen, you want to be ready for them.
Exactly. You totally understand what the scenario planning is. Okay. So we can predict. Okay, some possible outcomes, possible futures. Okay. For example, we have, A, B, C situations. We can predict something like that, different situations. Okay. Then if A happens, we want to do this. If B happens, we want to do this. We want to do this. If C happens, something like this. This is exactly the scenario planning. Okay. And then based on this idea, simple idea, okay, some people just add up some, the statistic things, probability things, okay, all right, model. Okay. So situation A has a probability of what, like a 0.5. B has like a probability of 0.3. C has 0.2, something like that. Okay. Then A happens, we want to do A. B happens, we want to do B, something like that. Okay. Then we can the value of this scenario planning. Okay. The probability of the outcome multiplied by the actual strategy. Okay. Then we can combine all of this, 3 cases. Then we have mean value of strategy. Okay, it doesn't make sense. Mean value of strategy, right? Strategy is not numbers. So it doesn't make sense. We are talking about the mean value of numbers, but there are some ways strategy is not numbers, but you can transfer to the numbers. Okay, to the numbers. I'm not going to talk about that technique at this point. All right. Probably you will see some aspects of this in the simulation too. All right. Your simulations are all about the numbers, right? So some strategy is actually transferred to the numbers. Okay. So you will see this aspect of strategy in your simulations too. Okay. So this is a scenario plan. Okay. Why do we care about scenario planning? Because our environment is not stable, right? Not stable. Our environment is changing. Okay? So we cannot predict only one outcome, all right? So that's why we talk about scenario planning too, all right? The future cannot be known, all right? So taking the outside the box. All right, because we do scenario planning, okay? We need to do this: analysis, formulation, implementations. All right. And formulation, you can create strike options. Then these 3 steps, A, F, I, are interacted each other. Okay. This is not just one way of circle. All right. So analysis actually impact implementations, and implementation impact analysis too. So these are intermingled, and the genius effects each other. Okay? So all of these 3 steps, you go forward and backward and again and then again and again to find a better strategy. Okay, not one way. Don't confuse it. Okay, not just one way. All right. So look at this. Not like this. Yes, this. Okay. So originally you have an intended strategy. This is top-down strategy plan. All right. Intended strategy. And then when you implement this strategy, okay, some strategies will come up like a bottom-up emergent strategy. You don't know which strategy will come up like this. Okay, and also among this intended strategy, some strategy will be dropped. This is unrealized strategy, and some strategy come up, and then this strategy will be realized strategy. Okay. All right. So once again, I'm going to talk about simulations again and again because this is all about your implementation of a strategy. Okay. So you have intended strategy for round 1, for example. Okay. And then you do strategy in round 1. Then based on the result of round 1, so you have intended strategy for round 2, all right? But in that strategy, some strategy just dropped because you understand, oh, this strategy doesn't work. It doesn't work. Okay? Then some strategy will come up, all right? Then you use this strategy, all right? Then the realized strategy will be formed for round 2. Okay? This is a process. Okay? You will practice with the simulations. Okay. All right. Then implication for strategies. Okay. So MPB is, so everyone knows that net present value, right? In finance class. Okay. So you have several investments opportunities. Then you have a positive, okay, greater than 0 values in terms of MPB. Then you take that opportunity. All right. This is the central idea of MPB. Okay. And real options, we talked about that. All right. I'm not gonna repeat this. We talked about that real options already in my research. Okay. All right. Then that's it. This is all about chapter 2. All right. This is all about chapter 2. Okay. So, any question and comment at this point? So we talked about strategy, the definitions of strategy management, and some other topics, and the framework of strategy management, and some trends, and that's implication for the strategies. Okay. All right. Any question, comment? Okay, let me ask this. Is it my lecture? Okay. Is it too fast? Too slow? Is it okay? Please say something. All right. Okay, good, good. All right. All right, great. Thank you so much. All right. So if you are okay with this, I'm gonna keep. Okay. I'm gonna keep this pace. So, you are okay with the chapter case? All right. So you say okay. And one more case, you say okay. 10 minutes. And discussions, 10 minutes. Okay. And the lectures, this pace is good. So I'm gonna keep this pace of class. Okay. This design of class. Okay. All right, for the next chapters too. Okay, so if you have any question, problem, concerns, okay, about class, let me know. Okay, we can talk. Okay. All right, this is about chapter 1 and 2. We done. Any question, any concern before we go? All right. The next time is what? Next time. I really don't like this schedule. It's a asynchronous again. All right. So next time, simulation, practice round 2. Okay. So it's an asynchronous class. Okay. So you don't need to get together. Okay. But I will be here. Okay. With this video conferencing. So if you need any, okay, if you have any question or concerns about practice round, okay, be with me. Okay, I will open this video conference, and then I will be here. Okay, but it's a asynchronous class, so I cannot say you should be here. Okay, so it depends on. Okay, you have an autonomy to where and when you will meet with your teammates for practice round 2. But I recommend if you don't have any specific plan, so you can just get together in these breakout rooms. Then you can just simply talk about the question simulations. It's totally up to you. It's an asynchronous class, so I cannot say anything about your schedule. Okay. All right. So, you have any question, concern at this point? Anything? Please say no if you don't have it. All right, great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm gonna see you on next Monday if you need it. Okay. Then if you have a separate meeting, then we'll see in the following week, Monday. All right. Okay. Great job. Great job. You have a great job. Okay. So nice discussions. I love it. Okay. I will see you on next Monday.
Thanks, Dr. Kong.
Thank you. Thank you. You did a great job.
You are currently the only person in this conference.